Everybody, welcome to your favorite podcast, Thirsty Thursday. I'm one of the hosts, Jake Ernie, he, him, his, and I'm here with the beautiful Taylor Waits.
Hello, she, her, hers.
And I have a special guest with us here today. Y'all, welcome, Nick Moncayo.
I don't get the beautiful.
You're above beautiful. You're drop dead gorgeous. Emphasis on the drop dead.
Work.
When I see,
And everybody, today
Nick, my pussy goes, wow. Whoa.
Today is the premiere episode of our porn series, everybody. We're going to dive deep, and when I say we're going to dive deep, we're going to get deep into the online world that is all gay, queer porn. Y'all ready for this?
Are you ready for this?
Are you ready for this?
Kelly?
Now, I hope you all
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, we do require some kind of like porn experience in our audience. I don't think it's crazy to say that porn's not accessible. What do y'all think?
Everyone has access to porn. 10-year-olds have access to porn.
Yes.
I had access to porn.
You know those phones? The jitterbug? Those big ass phones that old people get?
Yes.
And even old people have access to porn.
Yes, porn has been around forever, and online didn't make it harder. It made it easier.
Period.
So, and we're just not going to talk about all these different types of porn. We're going to get into a bunch of different types, but we're typically just going to stay with gay porn. Gay porn, lesbian porn that's inside the LGBTQIA plus community. That's what we're focused on. We don't have time for that straight shit anymore.
They're illegal.
Yeah, so
Abolish straight. Defund them.
Defund straight.
Defund straight porn. I know gay porn gave a lot to me as a young individual that taught me a lot about who I am as a gay person. Mm-hmm. I had a whole evolution to my gay experience, starting off with threesomes with two guys and a girl. We're able to see a lot more dick than anything.
Okay. Yeah.
That was great for me. That was my this is my loophole into gay porn. I'm seeing more dick in straight porn.
Oh.
So if I get caught on my history, I'm queer.
Oh yeah, we all identify as bisexual in the beginning.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, that's the baby step.
Mm-hmm. But then I quickly evolved into just solo male porn. I thought that was hot. I just seeing a man, and that was the closest thing off of completely straight porn.
Yeah.
Which is a man. Is that? Maybe not, but that's how it felt.
Yes, that is homophobic. And
yeah.
Secondly, straight porn was the first porn I had access to that I can remember. I still remember the little firewall they'd have, you don't look 18, with the little GIF eyeballs going back and forth. And that would deter me, but then one day I got the moxie to look it up, and I'm like, I don't like tits.
Yeah.
And then I saw men. And then I Googled men on men porn. It's gay porn.
Yeah.
And it freaked me out. It really made me feel strange in the sense of a lot of expectations.
Alone, isolated, scared.
Yeah, actually. And everyone does. Did y'all get a little depressed? There was a little depression phase after you discovered porn?
Oh yeah, I felt my virgin, my good child, my glory was stripped.
Cut it off. You're like, what the fuck is this nasty shit?
Yeah, I got mad at myself. Ew, I had that. I liked that. Ugh, disgusting.
No, I was just mad that I wasn't getting my dick sucked. You know what I mean?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
My innocence was stripped from me, and I wanted that dick.
Oh,
yes.
You were take my innocence, bitch. I'm gonna roll.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh, bitch. That's nice. I dig that.
I love that.
What were y'all? Did you guys have favorite porn categories?
Yeah, especially when I was into straight porn, or if I'm finding my way to the straights, and I'm lazy and I've just got to do what I got to do. Definitely babysitter, or like you said, a bisexual orgy is definitely where I'm at. It's the best way for me to see everything that I want to see. Because for me, watching a penis penetrate a vagina, I don't know, but it's old news.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm okay, I've seen it. I know what it's about. I just want to see
200,000 is too old. Yeah.
After 5 minutes, at first I'm like, Next thing, I'm literally on page 101, searching, deep diving for something that's really it. And so because I got bored of vaginal to, penile sex, I was like, well, I'm going to migrate to like, what is gay porn? And kind of the same way, Nick, I was in the car on the way to a family function. We were driving, it was like 6 hours. I was in the back of the car, and I had been on YouTube and fallen upon this video of boys. It was called Boys Kissing on YouTube. And that was my entryway. I just was into it after I saw that first YouTube. Then I would YouTube boys kissing until it basically reached porn stage. And then once I got like I was like, there's not enough. I just went through to Google. I found out the private tab and I typed in boys kissing with pants off.
Yeah.
You had to be specific back then.
Period. And then I just fell upon XTube. And I was like a bukkake girl at first because I was just like, what's going on? I'm just
of course.
Just giving us the resume.
And then as we were just talking about, I moved into like solo/circle jerk area. Then moved into like transsexual, sort of bisexual porn. And now public or voyeur is like my shit. I love watching a good man get fucked by 3 other men on a park bench in the woods. Like that.
On the interstate.
See, I've been really into like homemade porn as of recently. Like I like just like
it's just,
I know, but like the ones that like you can tell.
I think you mean amateur.
Amateur, that's good too, but this amateur is great as well. Yeah, my porn site uses homemade, but it's basically amateur.
So on the vein of homemade though, Jake, do you mean like the ones where they'll have like their name at the bottom? It's like Ray and Juicy or JJ, and you can go to their own website or go to their PayPal or whatever.
No, like the homemade ones, like there's just this hot gay couple that just decided to record their fucking session one time, and then they're like, oh, this is fucking hot, let's upload it to something. Like that's a hot.
I've kind of always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Why not? The likes, the attention.
Like that's
the audacity.
And porn does, especially gay porn, they try to create these scenarios that are like just amount of lifelike, but then completely unrealistic at the same time.
Right.
Like I don't know, maybe I'm part of a minority in this aspect, but I've never had a long conversation with my pizza delivery guy.
Yeah, no.
So having actually the ability to bring him into my house and to start having sex with him that's a porn thing. Like that's the hot. But I've never ever plausible. No.
I have had the kind of like those kind of like psychic.
Exactly.
No.
I'm screaming. Nick's like,
and they're like,
you're
here's
just
your fucking pizza.
Yeah. I was gonna say you got already ordered pizza,
but in my mind, he really wanted it.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
So I ordered pizza the next 7 days.
I only eat pizza now. It's just the same.
But it's crazy because it's all like these blue collar jobs. You got the pizza man, you got the plumber, you got the electric man. And I
think the only time that has worked for me in real life, obviously, number one, it only works with cis hetero men. Otherwise, it would never work. But I think it's mostly with my drug dealers. I can most definitely like shake something out, or you can kind of, eyeball it in the deep of the and kind of see like, ooh, I can get something off of this. But like you said, like porn has never actually come true. Nothing that I watch, I think, has actually happened, other than a few orgies that I participated in, and even then, they weren't like the ones that I was watching. Most of the ones that I watch, I don't even watch the beginning. I don't even know how they ended up there.
Everyone fully watches 5 minutes of porn. It's all like, do you watch porn through?
I like to skip. So obviously Twitter, my fandom Twitter.
Yes.
Follow me at
rest in peace. Yeah, Tumblr, rest in peace.
R.I.P. So Twitter, that's where I get most of my porn, because it's just like bam, 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 all different categories. Everyone you follow, it's not like you have to search for it. It's
right.
Constant. It's like the morning paper. Like when I wake up, genuinely switch accounts and I scroll through, I want to see a couple dick suck. Am I jerking it? No. It's just passive kind of content at this point.
But it's interesting to know it becomes that passive content, it's just coming through our feed, and we can see a direct correlation of the categories they're posting, the type of boys we see in the porn that's just flowing down our themes, and how those categories are placed in the grand scheme of gay media world. Right. It's always either like the big hunky black guy with the big ass fucking cock, or like the submissive little twink, or the fight like the Paul brother boy thing, kind of, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Football player, blonde, white boy.
Okay, yeah.
Logan Paul kind of like. Or you have like the Shawn Mendes type. Yeah.
Or you have, that can even extend into like racial categorization of like BBC.
Right.
Or
definitely.
Or Latino Thug. I always see that. There's a site called
Prison
By Latino
porn.
Men.
Yeah. Thugorgy.com.
Yeah. Thugorgy.com.
Yeah.
Sketchysex.com, Latino, by Latino,
when they do an orgy with like a big football team with one guy, it's all black guys on the football team and that white little Twinkie boy right in the middle.
Of course.
And that's the one that gets millions of views.
That's the one who gets millions of followers.
Yeah, honey,
right.
and the dollars.
And dollars. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. All the money, all of it. And then on the age of or on the air of sapphic porn or women with women porn, it is literally, the categories are wrestling, like stepsister to stepsister, or the mother. It is always somebody's mom, like convincing either the young children to do this thing or to do something on someone else, and they watch. It's rarely, two girlfriends are badly in love and stare at each other for 20 minutes. It's always like the other girlfriend wants to leave the boyfriend. It's just very, they love each other, or they're having sex out of revenge, or because they're trying to be on the low or whatever.
It's in some kind of negative light.
Yeah.
You should feel ashamed in it. It should be a regretful kind of thought in your head. Yeah.
And when I think racial, they have like ebony lesbians or like black lesbians fucking each other, and then they'll do the same thing with like Latina lesbians fucking each other. But even with that, like you said, you can just imagine what they look like, and that's literally what it is. Like, there is no variance in skin tone or size, really.
And there's not much dialogue given to it either. It's very much so just them having sex in the bed.
Period.
And now, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but a lot of lesbians that I've talked to, that they talk about, they don't really watch lesbian porn. They're more interested in gay man porn, man on man porn.
Yeah.
Because a lot of lesbian porn are made for like straight men.
Right. It's made for dudes.
Made
so it's not
for and by.
Right. Right. Literally. And it's just, porn in general is just very violent towards women, which is why I don't like straight porn. And it's very hard for me to watch it because I'm like, there's just so much going on. But
it technically condones violence.
Yeah,
no,
violence
literally. And then even with women with other women, it's just violent. And I'm like, this isn't how women, we're not literally punching each other's vaginas. Like, that's not how sapphic people, like you said, bisexual people, pansexual people, lesbian women, number one, approach each other. Number one, we're going to sit in the room and not say anything for an hour. That's how we get it. That's how we make it happen. And then after we fuck the first time, we're together for 6 years. Like, where's that? Where's the U-hauling? Where's the shit that actually happens?
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to pay for that.
We do.
Is what we're being told. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because we do. Because the thing is, I'll pay. I'm lying, but I will pay, and I have paid. And in the next part, right after this, we're gonna get into like, pay for porn and all this other sorts of stuff. But to not get too deep into it, there are definitely women directors, lesbian-owned porn production companies, and just like Nick said, there is nobody buying that shit. While it is most definitely like well thought out and includes like even partners who have been together before, and like you said, these amateur sort of watching two people who are actually in love, like passionately fuck, is still like not as appealing as a free ass video on a free ass site. And I think it says a lot about how we degrade or see sex work. It's not we, because I think gay people most definitely have a heightened sensibility to sex work and how important it is, but how much we don't give a fuck about people who are doing a job. They're literally fucking on camera for us, and we're not even willing to pay the $4, the $5, the $6, the $2, really the $1 to access to the OnlyFans. You know what I mean? It's, if something's free, why even try and go for something that might be more quality or really get you the nut that you're looking for?
That's true.
Nut either.
It's true, and but I think a lot of people, they also think about the time that they spend with porn as, some people sit there and have a whole ordeal, like they use it for like a couple hours on end, and they create time and space to watch their porn. But some people watch it before they go to bed, and it takes all of 15 minutes.
Period. Yeah.
And like I don't think people find the need to buy porn. Again, it's free, even though they're not thinking about the depth that it goes to the actors that are in that porn, the money they're not getting, and the disrepresentation of sex workers in that manner.
I wanted to bring up that because, like you said, how you're lying, you're not going to pay for porn. Realistically, nobody pays for porn. Paying for porn, I would say, I don't want to use the word phenomena to use loosely, but at least in the past 1.5 to 2 years, it's become an online or digital phenomena of exposing yourself online for money and you getting a part of those proceeds. And you're cutting out that middleman. That is the cameraman. That is the director. That is the group of 3 men staring on the snack bar.
And it's not a new concept. I mean, that's what we had strippers in the bars for going on. I mean, even before that, we've had people on the streets. Even our people in our own community that have been, doing the hook. And it's just because the internet has, we created a new frontier, essentially, and e-hooking.
Yeah, people will always conquer the next step in evolution of whatever they have to make their coin. And if that is, if it was the baby steps of like, Craigslist meeting up, and then it goes into Snapchat charging people cash, Snap Cash for nudes, going into OnlyFans just for fans. I think that is much safer, and I think it's a source of self-expression.
Yeah.
It's definitely healthier and safer instead of people going to people's homes or being abused online in live chat rooms, being objectified almost. You get to dictate your content and you get to dictate your audience as well, which I think is very safe and very progressive for something that is inevitable.
Yeah. Exactly. And we talked a lot about those concepts in our first 2 episodes. We talked about the e-environment and how this all has evolved over time. And we're kind of bringing it all back into the porn categories, into the porn world. You still see even the models that are now creating their own platform for themselves, to gain their foot in their industry, to get their coin.
Right.
They also tend to then market themselves in the way that they know society will accept it. And all that leads back to how porn, especially gay porn, is represented online. And we can see over and over again that we have these systemic problems in our fabric of our community because of commercialism. And it's really interesting to understand that as a community, to overcome that is possible, but it's also so deeply ingrained that it's almost impossible.
Right.
Since it's such a passive form of content and it's expected, like, shit, it's not for free, I'm not gonna watch it.
Right.
Or shit, you want me to pay for your tit pics or your dick pics? I think it's become to an extent of shit, I forgot my main point of all of this.
What you were saying, Nick, it's kind of like, to me, I have to become a part of your life or a part of your persona, sort of like YouTubers. And that's what these porn actors and actresses and acting people end up doing, is it's like, oh, I like this person so much, or I like these 2 people. There's these 2 women, they no longer have a channel, and I'm sad about it. But they used to have a channel, and it was like $7 a month, which was great. And you could tell them directly what you wanted them to do, where you'd like them to have sex if they're able to do those things. And then they would also post like, we're having dinner, or we're on a date, or whatever. So I'm like, no, I'm like literally invested. Like, I actually like y'all, and I want these $7 to go to you. I think, as like you said, Nick, as the world has become, as people are becoming their own porn managers and
privatized corporation.
Right. I have now become like more ethical about who it is that I'm giving my money to. Because if my good sis tells me, oh yeah, that director's scum and those dudes were fucking gross and they did not pay me my money, then I'm like, well, fuck them. I'm going to pay. Well, how are you selling your porn? No, I'll pay you. You know, I'll give you the money directly. And it's obviously because I'm involved that I feel that way. If you do not
You're contributing.
make money selling your ass online, you're probably not going to give a fuck or not really think, you know, logically, or not necessarily logically, think further than the 15 minutes, like you said, the 20 minutes. And I think it's a double thing of we as human beings should be investing more time in our pleasure and understanding that we should care if these actors are taken care of. We should care that these are done under ethical stances. Like, you should feel bad if you're watching a porn and you know the person who's in the porn is not getting paid for that porn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You should sort of feel a certain sort of way about it. And the way to get it to change is to then say, to look to your left and to your right, or to look to yourself and say, well, now I'm here. I've reached this point. What am I going to do now? And if you know that the way that you're consuming your porn is not ethical, or it's not getting your people what you want, you know, it's kind of the same with getting an Apple phone or doing Amazon. Like,
yeah.
See, but when it comes to something so personal, who are you to tell me what's ethical? Or who are you to tell me what I'm watching is wrong, or that I should feel bad for jerking off because personally I like watching someone have a bag over their head.
You know what? And we're going to take a quick break. Yeah. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about exactly that issue, talk about how we can get this point in it and what the social, economic, and political stance is on all these different things. And then we'll talk about some call to actions. But we will be right back.
Yes, sir.
Back, everybody. We just finished up the discussion of talking about the monetization of the porn industry and the lengths gays will go to get their porn, but how important it is also to our own community and how we make our income. Because, bitch, you can get that coin by bopping that booty online. But we really want to get into some different aspects of porn. We want to take it into a social, economical, and political context of things. And we're really going to start this out by talking about the hypersexualization of porn. You know, and gays are like, gays just always want to fuck. And how that's done, what that's done to our community, like how it has gone so far that the grand narrative, based off what they see of us online, how we, you know, how that, I wouldn't say how we curated, because that's not true.
Yeah.
How the online world has curated gay porn, like we see how sex crazy the world thinks we are.
Not even that, like even on television shows, like, not to pull out Will and Grace, but Will and Grace. Like,
oh, true.
Pull her out.
They're always fucking somebody. They always have somebody on the side, and the woman is like, I've never been with someone in 7 years, and the gay guy's like fucking everybody. Like, in basically every show, it's usually the trope gay male. And if it's a lesbian, she's like lonely or has a wife, and they're like the comic relief, and you never hear about them. So and you kind of
like 80 years old. Yeah, they're like really old, and they're like never. Yeah, I feel.
And when you think of like what people blame gay people for in society, for stealing or trying to corrupt children, you know, so they think that we're hypersexualized and just want to sleep with people's kids, or want to corrupt their children into becoming gay or to becoming trans. Or
how straight men just, if we approach a straight man in the bar and say, "Oh, you have nice jeans," how they'll just punch us across the space. Which, you know, has a lot of different things, but there is the, oh my God, every gay guy wants to have sex with me concept.
Yes.
Which, you know, is dark and comes from several different fucked ups, but, you know, one of them is the hypersexualization of our community.
And like you said, we kind of feed into it, most definitely. Like, have you been to a Pride event? Have you been to an
after? Have you been to a gay bar? I could go to any gay bar on the strip and I can see an uncomfortable straight man because you see a line of thirsty gays offering to buy him a drink or maybe grab his ass walking by. It's funny because it's a flip perspective and that's why they feel uncomfortable. We can go on and on about it. But the way men feel uncomfortable about other gay men is because they're uncomfortable with other men being men.
Exactly.
And it's just an unfair advantage to them. And we feed into it ourselves, which I think kind of segues into like what I wanted to segue, which would be like our glorification of their discomfort and how we praise and crave for the demeaning and the degradation by the alpha straights, by the superior, stronger men.
Are you talking about onto us or onto themselves?
Onto us.
Oh,
and that's also something that we create for ourselves. So obviously we create like the negative aspects of hypersexualization and always being horny and always being on the prowl to like predate on straight men or even kids sometimes.
Yes.
So this is we feed into this ourselves when we're like, yeah, I'm a dirty faggot, get spit on and slapped.
Yeah, it's almost like this Stockholm kind of like oppression, disorder.
Right. It's
Just
like
because it's also ingrained.
trauma's fucked, right? Like trauma fucked and trauma also fucks. Like we could have been traumatized. We were talking about it earlier with these familial relationships. A lot of, not even a lot, I won't say that because that's not true. But some gay folks, especially people that I'm close to, a lot of us had really inappropriate first gay experiences, either with friends, not knowing what consent means and just kind of like trying things on you, or even as far as with a family member with the head of their, a priest, someone in the community. And when you don't process those moments, number one, because you're closeted, you don't want people to think that you're gay. So I can't tell people that this event happened. And you don't talk about it and you bottle those feelings, then you start to, just like Nick said, re-perpetuate those things onto people because you literally don't know what the fuck's going on. Like when you're introduced to sex in these traumatic and really inappropriate ways, it fucks with how you get your pleasure or where you seek pleasure from.
Mm-hmm.
I most definitely am a problematic ass bitch. You know what I mean? We all have daddy issues. We all have mom issues. But I feel like the thing that was hardest for me to stop watching, particularly, especially being a Black woman, is watching like jail porn or watching anything to do with cops. Just like you said, Nick, I have a fear of police putting their hands on me or raping me or doing something like that. And especially being a Black woman, having experienced it and knowing how, defund the police, all cops are bad, but then still like getting pleasure from knowing that like this person is locked away, this police officer is taking advantage of them. That's so weird. Like I'm trying to not get, number one, not get pleasure from a cop at all. And number two, why is it that I'm hurt by these things, seeing them online, especially in this age of seeing how cops hurt Black people? But that used to be, not at all. I haven't watched one of those videos in a long time. And that was growing up, like all I would fucking watch. It was my thing,
I mean, I think that also we could go into how that could be like the systemic or the embedded racism that's in our country that, that's okay. We can appeal to this media, but appealing to like deep, dark, traumatic sexual media like porn, that's where you can really get someone, and that's what you're saying, and that's how you've reflected. So that could be in the grand narrative of forcing oppression. That could be in the grand narrative of forcing racism. Just like you can see like the grand narrative of gays like being demeaned and being embarrassed.
You just said it with the 10 Black dudes and the one white guy. You know what I mean? That's a certain message that Black men are dangerous, or that they like to terrorize white men, scrawny, small white men all at once. And not only that white men like that shit, but that Black people also like that shit. And we like to prey on and to be hypersexualized. And that's what we like also. We like to be in the room and doing that shit.
Yeah, in a more emotional sense, kind of how those kind of things do appeal to us or get into our head as appealing, is it comes from two very high emotional places.
Yeah.
You have trauma, you have something that goes deep, and then all of a sudden you're seeing it sexualized and brought into a fantasy world.
Right.
And I think that dissonance confuses a lot of people, and they automatically start thinking, okay, this is two things from very deep emotional connection with me. I have to somewhat be emotionally connected to this, and I watch it.
Yeah. On the vein of like unrealistic, me and Jake last time were talking about meeting up with people online or meeting them virtually or whatever. And there's so many scenarios on porn of people finally meeting these people, or people linking up with people on Tinder or on Grindr, and it going and being amazing. And not to down any of those people, but to be honest, that's not a situation that I've really run into where I wasn't hypersexualized or fetishized when I met a person, because that's why they actually liked it. When you're on these apps, people are just looking at your face and your body and what they want from you and what those little categories.
You're lucky your face.
Right. You know what I mean? It's really, not that. They are also looking in me for me to be that fantasy for them. And when I'm actually myself, and when I'm a human being and a person, and I want to talk about consent, I want to ask, well, how does this fit into blah, 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 or that I'm polyamorous, and they're thinking, well, you're just supposed to be like this really sexy, hot Black woman who shuts the fuck up and sucks my dick.
Who's down for
no,
everything? Yeah.
I haven't sucked a dick in a year. Like, I don't even want to do that.
Oh yeah, no, for fucking real. The unrealistic expectations that people create of porn, and I've met people that can't get at the concept that sometimes you have to, in a sexual relationship or a sexual, situation, right?
Yeah.
Do you believe that each person has to come to a completion? Both people have to be pleased?
I do not. So I'm versatile, so I like being an aggressive dom top as much equally as I love being a dumb submissive bottom.
Yeah.
So I'm able to come when I'm on top, but if I'm a bottom, I'm not focused on myself. And I told you this before, where I'm not focused on myself when I'm a bottom, where I put myself in the mindset where I don't know if I was brainwashed to think this way, but I put myself in the mindset where it's not about me. I'm here to please this person. So I don't need to come. I don't need to finish. As long as you're satisfied, I'm happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I see that definitely with the top and bottom complex, definitely.
No.
Oh, it's not even just like it's a complex because it not only rates it's almost your sexual or your socioeconomic level. Tops verse bottoms, like it's a socioeconomic level where like bottoms dime dozen. Ooh, tops they need to be praised and worshipped.
I think that's verse. I think a lot of people are more interested in having a versatile partner versus a complete.
Girl, by now you should be verse. You should expect it to be verse. You are not an adult if you don't have a wiener in your ass once. You're not an adult if you don't eat out ass at least once. I think everyone should be versatile because it just opens up the possibilities and it breaks the stigmas of like, I remember my last relationship where I tried to like be like switch it up and he told me no, like we have our roles, which led to problems of him wanting another top, him wanting and me not being comfortable with that, and why I have that trauma of open relationships. And he had this expectation of like, I have to be this top Latino, I have to be this and that, and he's going to be the needy cock hungry bottom kind of deal. So
and all those descriptors you're saying, they all stem from these porn categories we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Stereotypes, like you said, embedded in how we think as Americans, or just across the planet, how we think.
Yeah, so
that's all false expectation. That's not, and just in saying that, like, everybody should be more versatile. Literally, like people need to be able to get outside of these unrealistic expectations you have in people to just be one certain kind of sexual partner, and especially whatever their face looks like, whatever that they have themselves appearing as, is they have to take on this a specific role.
No,
that's a huge issue in our community. That stems from racism. It stems from homophobia. It stems from heteronormative pressures. It stems from trauma. It goes deep into the social context of our community.
No, literally. So there are, lights at the other end of the tunnel. While porn, especially in the gay community, definitely perpetuates like a lot of the stereotypes that we're trying to get away from as gay people. It, as we've talked about in this entire episode, is also so enlightening. It is a place where you can find pleasure. It's a place where you can find other people
community
enjoy the pleasure that you're interested in.
A community you can be a part of, like you said, a pleasure that you can be a part of, a community you find other people that you can be free with, that you can openly communicate with.
Period.
Yeah.
You feel like understand you at least a little bit more sexually, because sexual compatibility is really hard to find in a person.
Really.
And especially, it becomes a little bit easier when you're online, because then you can just kind of like, oh, I know I like this, or I can think, or I can.
Well, I think it's hard for some. I think some people find sex partners very easily.
But with the way you're thinking, like the digital age today, like Tinder, more importantly, if we're talking about gay porn, Grindr, great gay hookups available on like
Chinese
10 feet away, 300 feet away, 3 miles. The availability, the lingo, the racism, discrimination, the sexism, all inside of like one app. Yeah, we could spend a whole night talking about
no blacks, no femmes.
everything wrong about Grindr, but we love it. We support it. We're here for it. I could talk so much shit about Grindr, but I'm gonna go to some dude's house at 3 a.m. this morning. You know what I mean? Like,
not period. Like, we're still gonna be indulging in what it is that we do, because porn obviously is only a glimpse of the entire queer experience. And just like Jake said, we all have different journeys on that queer experience, on where we go and where we're at and where we end up and what we want, right? And we, as a gay community, have already chosen to accept porn, or to accept porn as Nick said before, inevitable, as something that's going to be put out. We, as gays, are sexual people and are more in tune with our sexuality, because we have to be. We have to consistently prove and try and explain to people, which you don't have to do, and oftentimes I don't. But being gay, a lot of it is trying to get to explain to people what the fuck you're doing, or why it is that you act the way, or why it is you dress that way, or why it is you talk the way you do, or why it is you like what you do. And the good thing about porn is that there's no explanation needed. Just like you said, you click on what you want. You can.
It's nature. You're just fucking.
It's there. It's fucking, and you can see exactly what might get you high, what might be like, oh, I need to skip this, or this isn't really where I'm at. And it gives you ideas as to when you are ready, if you ever are ready, to move on to having sex with other people, with one or more, to just get a glimpse at what that could be. But it definitely is not, what it is. I think it's on us as queer folks to change what it is that we want to see changed about these apps and all these other things. For me, as a queer person, these are really the only spaces that we can meet on, right? There is not another app that a gay person has created that I know that is as widely spread as Grindr that we can use as a meeting place. So you use Grindr as the stepping stone to something else. Is Grindr problematic? Is Pornhub, all these other sorts of places problematic? Yes. But just like we said, these are glimpses of the world. The world is problematic. And what do you do when you see something that's problematic? Or if you're on one of these sites, report the video.
Come on, call to action.
Spread the word. Period.
Report.
Do what you need to do, because this is our space. And you kind of have to see it that way. Grindr is just as much for me, or not necessarily for me as a cis woman, but it's
not for you.
Exactly, as a gay person than it is for the next gay person. So don't let it be no fats, no femmes. You can revolt on Grindr. You can do it. You can make
yes. And I was just thinking that, like, we know that we as a gay community, we have power over how our gay community is formed. Right. And that talks, if we start watching porn that we generally have interest in, and we're not falling into these commercialistic and these ideologies, that we get over that hump, we reflect, we see our biases, and we go into the porn that's actually meaningful and good for our community, that represents good shit. I'm not saying get all sappy and have to get all that boyfriend porn. There is still some funky ass, crazy, weird ass porn out there that's not racist. Yeah. So you need to find those streams to get into these actual good medias, so we can create porn that actually is representative of who we are, because we are a sexual community. It is literally, we are gay people.
We incorporate into our month-long celebration of our culture's pride. We wear pink thongs and flags as capes, as attire. So we're a very hypersexualized community.
But I don't see it as a bad thing, because hypersexualized is given that negative connotation. Hypersexualized, oh my god, and that's the Protestant, that's the religion in our society being like, sex is bad.
It's the angry straight man that's like, oh, I'm so mad at my neighbor. They're having such a loud fucking time playing good music. They're having good people over. They're having good sex. I'm angry. I want them to change who they are. That's what it is. We're a force to be reckoned with as a community, as the queer community. We always consistently put each other down. It's only part of our culture. Right. Whether the library is open or closed.
Period.
Whether it's on like apps like Grindr, where we put each other down, of like no fats, no femmes, no blacks, no Mexicans, no Asians. We put each other down, but it's also a place of community where I've noticed recently, after having recently downloaded the app again, I have seen a lot of profiles with their names changed to Black Lives Matter, like BLM. I've seen a lot of profiles with a lot of positive names, and they're not giving like a summit speech about it. They're not giving that kind of like progressiveness on it. But as long as there's kind of recognition of other communities within our community,
Yeah.
it's a safe place to be.
Right.
And it's a safe, informative, and inclusive place to be for our community. However, there's always a double-edged sword.
There's a double-edged sword when it comes to community in general, and having a society that, especially a society that's not on actual ground. This is the cyber world.
Right.
So you're creating rules and creating streets in a cyber world, in a world that doesn't have any actual physics to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But this is, we always, and throughout this entire series, we always come back to that sense of community in the online world and how that all intermingles and how that's been such a big inspiration in a lot of our childhood as gay people.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have more gay people on, and we're going to have different guests and different voices speaking to this. And everybody I've talked to about it always has that sense of like birth in the digital era. I mean, Lady Gaga, like, you know, the tech kids, what's the yellow team?
Yeah.
Yeah, the tech kids.
Yeah, like literally embedded in gay culture is technology.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
that's what we're going to have for this week. Next week is going to be our last episode in the porn series, and we're going to dive specifically into the communities that are forming in there, what they mean, the difference between kink and lifestyles, and we're going to bring a whole different aspects of what the end part of our session is about. And guys, this is just the beginning. We're slowly getting into other sessions. Coming up the next 2 weeks, we're going to start another series, and you guys, I hope you're enjoying this as much as we are, because I'm having such
I had a great time.
Make sure that y'all are being ethical about the ways in which you consume your porn. Make sure that you're keeping others safe while you are consuming your porn, and make sure that you are becoming vulnerable and open and understanding that pleasure is necessary and it is good. Pleasure that involves violence towards others, pleasure that involves children, and pleasure that involves over-sexualization or racism is not okay. So make sure you stay away from things that are like that. But make sure to have open conversations if you are with a partner about watching porn, about getting deeper into porn. And if you don't already know, I run a movement called Change Rape Culture, and we do have an ongoing direct link Google form that actually has queer sex workers, everything you can think of, honey, that you want to click.
Nice plug.
To their OnlyFans, direct links to their Instagrams, and direct links to their Cash Apps. I'll put that under this video. But watch porn and have fun. Thank you so much to Nick for coming on this episode.
Yes, Betty, thank you.
I'm going to have closing words too.
Yes, go ahead.
I want to let everyone know that porn is safe. Porn is good. Porn is normal. You shouldn't feel guilty for your urges, but I feel like it is necessary to be aware of them and how they affect people around you.
Yes.
So closing notes are, don't watch anything, you know, sadist, what's the word I'm looking for?
Fucked up.
Yeah, no killing people.
Yeah.
No horribly mutilating or abusing people. Have the clear conversation. And also if you're using an app like Grindr, keep it a nice, safe community place. And if you have your sexual preferences, don't let them be known to the world in racist comments or in racist connotation. Mm-hmm. Be loving and accepting, and don't put other people down for their differences, because we're all one community. And porn and social apps shouldn't have to dictate who we are as people and how we treat each other.
I don't know if that was 10, but that's the new 10 commandments.
Period. Moses who?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I've seen a burning bush, honey. I've seen a burning bush once or twice.
Honey, I got women for that.
It ain't that special, Jesus.
I got
it ain't
some
that special.
It's pretty though.
But thank you all for your support. I love y'all coming here. Please don't forget to like and share, and I can't wait to read y'all's comments and see you soon.
Oh, before we go, shout out to our first patron, Catherine. We want to make sure we shout out our patrons every video. Continue to go to our Patreon, taylorwaits.com/Patreon. Subscribe and get some more of this goodness. Everyone have a great week. See you next Thursday.
Bye.
Toodles and poodles.
And cut. Girls, yes. That's an yes, girls, women, yes.